Hey, some of you have requested a full garden tour, and so I'm gonna give it a shot. I don't super know how to do this, and I'm a baby and chaos gardener, so be kind. All right, it's August, here we go. I started everything in my garden this year, either from seed or bulb, root. I got a couple of bare root roses at the beginning of the season. So everything in here is either a perennial. I was not expecting to flower at all because I figured I'd keep my expectations low and say it'll flower in the second year, or it's an annual that I tried to fill the gaps in with. These just withered the blooms, and so I will put a picture of what these looked like just like a week or two ago. They are rose lilies. They're Michaela, I think, rose lilies, and they're so gorgeous. I battled deer for most of this season, so I planted 3 of those rose lilies and only one of them actually made it to flower, but I was so delighted with the blooms on the one that actually did flower. Then we've got some catmint here that I actually started from some cuttings I got from a Home Depot parking lot, and that was very fun. These started as little tiny sprigs, and then by the end of the season I had to actually move 2 over into another bed because they just took off. Then I've got these cone flowers, which again I did not expect to bloom. And so far we've got 2 of them here. This one, this gorgeous gal right here, is flowering. I've got some flowers coming up over here. And then this one's a little bit behind, but she's just working on a root system. It's fine. There are these marigolds that I didn't realize were gonna turn into bushes. You'll see a few of those all over the place. These are First Lady snapdragons and blanket flower that I super love. First year yarrow, again, started from seeds. It's gonna be a white yarrow at some point in the future. And then I've got my zinnia. I did dahlias for the first time this year. There's, I think, 4, maybe 3 or 4 different dahlias that actually came out so far. There's this little golden brown guy that I really like. And then there's a really deep purple one that I'll try to find a picture for because that one's not blooming at the moment. There are these gorgeous white ones that are just like rays of sunshine. And then more catmint, again, from that Home Depot parking lot. Thank you so much, Home Depot. Then there's our lupins right here. I was not expecting any of the lupins to bloom because I started them from seed this year. One of them did, so I'll put a picture hopefully of one of the things there. And then I've got this gorgeous peony. It's a little sick at the moment and I'm not super sure what's going on, but we're gonna figure it out. More of these ginormous mounds of marigold, more snapdragons right here. And then these gorgeous pink blooms are actually called peony asters. They're an annual. And so planted those out. I started them from seed late, planted those out, and a lot of them are actually blooming. I've brought a few in to the house already. So we've got lilies that got eaten up by the deer. It's okay, they'll be back next year. And Canterbury bells for next year. This is going to be a scarlet flax. It's an annual, so I'm really hoping it blooms. And then when I was up visiting my brother, I got on Facebook Marketplace and there was this lady getting rid of a bunch of phlox. And so this is some phlox that I picked up this year out of a lady's garden in northern New York. I love how gorgeous this is. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what it does next year. There's a bunch of alyssum and a couple of, what are they, jumping Johnny Jacks or something like that, or violets, that I, again, started all from seed. This is a volunteer that I didn't know was gonna come and be a rock star, so I'm pretty excited about that. And now we get to the truly chaos section of the garden. Because it looked nice earlier, and then I had to put these coleus somewhere. And then we were having work done in another area. And so then I had to move a bunch of stuff from there. And I sort of just panic stuck it in a bed, thinking like, it'll get nutrients for a while. And then when I figure out where to put it, I'll move it again. So this is currently the front bed of my house. There's just these like coleus that like are in it to win it. And I find it to be hilarious. So I've let them thrive. And then this is another foxglove that I started from seed. Wasn't expecting any of the foxgloves to flower this year. And like, there she is. She's been going for like 2 weeks now. It's incredible. I've got some baby bushes that I took from cuttings around town, blue paradise phlox and stuff that I still need to plant out. And yeah, so this is the front of my house, and I think it's hilarious. So the evolution of this bed this year has been mildly hilarious because this, was just created this year. I bought a bunch of dirt and just decided to get started from jump. And while I did a sun study of most of my property, I didn't do a proper rain study. And in my section of New Jersey, turns out that's really important. So I knew that this bed was going to be it was going to be well moisturized. What I didn't realize is that this section of my property would become a literal river that, it takes over the whole bed when I've got big rains, and this year has been like a really serious rain time. So I started putting cardboard down here and rocks, thinking I'll at least slow the rain down. I'm gonna obviously put mulch here too. It's just been, the thing at the bottom of the list. But I've got bee balm. I think that's gonna be purple next year, if I remember correctly. There's, oh my gosh, these Potomac apple blossom snapdragons that I'm just so happy with. Oh my gosh, I've got some blanket flower. There's a hydrangea back there that is, in its very first season. That started from a bare root. And Ganzia, which are nice, but it's an annual and I don't really think it's worth the effort. I don't think I'm gonna put effort into Ganzia again. There's some zinnias, more purple coneflower here, and then I've got some baby Cheyenne spirit, I think, coneflowers that are gonna, hopefully get rooted. These are some native yarrow that I saw on the side of the road and took some cuttings of. More of that catmint. And then that is a hardy hibiscus. I think it's gonna be a deep red if I remember correctly. And then more of these bare root hydrangeas that started this year. We've got some butterfly flower or butterfly weed. That is actually one of those peony asters. These sad little guys right here are tiny peony asters, but they've just been abused by the constant and incessant rain. This is a cutting of lobelia that I took this year. There's one on the other side as well. And I'm really happy because it's obviously rooted at the bottom. I knew the top was gonna die when I took the cutting. We've got some anise hyssop and more Canterbury bells, more nepeta, another hardy hibiscus right there. And then I started some Rudbeckia late. And so this is gonna be Rudbeckia next year. So my backyard was completely leveled this year because of some new construction. And so I've been doing a combination of cover cropping and putting in some microclover, and it's adorably messy right now. So for example, this is gonna be a big bed that I've defined all the way down, but it's just like terrible fill dirt clay soil, And I didn't want to go through the time and effort and money of having 20 yards of garden dirt brought in, because that's quite the expense. So over here, I've planted some crimson clover and daikon radish, and they're just gonna help improve the soil for a while and do some weed suppression. It's great. But the other great thing is that I've been interspersing a lot of my other perennials in here, and my Rudbeckia, it bloomed. I didn't think it was gonna bloom, but like there she is. There's another hibiscus right there. There's another hydrangea that's gonna stay, but it was a cutting, and so it started like super tiny. Over here, Facebook Marketplace strikes again because I saw a listing for these mature azalea plants, and he was just like trying to get rid of it, and he was a fellow gardener, and after we like chatted for a while, I got them at like an insanely good price. I think it was like maybe like $15 per, and they're like mature bushes, you know? He really just wanted them to have a good home. And so yeah, this whole bed these are azalea. I think they're gonna be red. I don't know if they're evergreen. We're gonna find out. And then I've also got more cuttings of different hydrangeas that I got, but they're so eensy right now that you can't really see them. And then over here, more surprise blooms. Okay, I mean, seriously, my yard is a mess. We're just at the beginning. I'm a little embarrassed, but you gotta be honest, right? Okay, so we've got some surprise delphinium blooms. Oh my gosh, I planted these out after starting the seeds late. There's also a couple of foxgloves in here that are thriving. But I got some random delphinium amongst the cover crop that were just like, hey, I'm gorgeous, let's do this thing. Kind of awesome. So right now I'm standing at the back of my garage, and this is a completely north-facing bed. We made it really, really thin because I also have like a thin patio over here, but I just wanted to be able to put some green. So I've got some Boston ferns. I got one Boston fern from Home Depot that was like on its last legs. Oh my gosh. So then I nursed it back to health, cut it in 4 parts, and look who's got 4 gorgeous Boston ferns over here. It's this guy. And then in between, there are some truly abused hostas that got neglected in a pot. I forgot it existed. Then I split it up and put it down here as well. So there's like a eensy teensy hosta leaf over there. And then in between are some astilbe that I started as bare roots. And I'm really excited to see what they do next year. I don't know what color I planted where, and it's just gonna be such a nice surprise. So thank you for joining me on my August 2024 Chaos Garden tour. If you have questions or comments or anything, you know, let me know. Put it in the comments, I guess. I don't know YouTube's. Maybe I'll do some more updates in my fall garden as well. And then obviously next year when the perennials come back and are just, you know, in their glory days. All right, bye.